First foremost, I want no further conflict with him.
You tell him from me that he can live or he can die.
Vincent, will you shut up?
In 2020, Al Pacino faced a near-death experience when his heart suddenly stopped beating. Paramedics were able to revive him, but something within him had changed forever. Now, at 84, the legendary actor who brought Michael Corleone to life leads an existence no one could have foreseen. Once a Hollywood titan, he now struggles financially after losing $50 million, taking on film roles he despises just to stay afloat. In a twist of fate, he became a father at 83, with a girlfriend young enough to be his granddaughter. From the turmoil of a DNA test dispute to his unsettling views on mortality, Pacino, once hailed as one of the greatest actors of all time, now finds himself more isolated than ever. Born on April 25, 1940, in East Harlem, New York City, Alfredo James Pacino came from a family of Sicilian immigrants. His parents, Rosa Girardi and Salvatore Pacino, sought a better life in America, but their marriage crumbled early on. When Pacino was just 2 years old, his father left for California to work as an insurance salesman, leaving his mother to raise him alone in the South Bronx. With the support of his grandparents, Kate and James Girardi, who hailed from Corleone, Sicily, a town later immortalized in The Godfather, Pacino navigated the hardships of urban life in the 1940s and 50s. His family struggled financially, and the absence of his father left a void that would never truly heal. However, his mother gave him something invaluable: her love for cinema. She frequently took him to the movies, where he lost himself in the magic of storytelling. Even before he fully understood acting, he felt drawn to it. Those early experiences planted the seeds of a passion that would shape the rest of his life. As he grew older, Pacino, known as Sonny among friends, developed a rebellious streak. By 9, he had already started smoking and drinking. By 13, he was experimenting with marijuana. School held little interest for him, and trouble seemed to follow wherever he went. He was frequently involved in fights, skipped classes, and defied authority, leading to multiple expulsions. Eventually, he found his way into the High School of Performing Arts, a place that seemed suited for someone with his talent. But even there, he didn't last long. At 17, following a heated argument with his mother about his future, he dropped out. With no diploma and no steady direction, he drifted through his teenage years, spending time with friends who, like him, had little sense of purpose. Many of them spiraled into dangerous paths. 3 of his closest friends, Cliffy, Bruce, and P.Y., would later die from drug overdoses. It could have been Pacino's fate too, but acting became his salvation. It gave him purpose, an escape from the chaos surrounding him. He later admitted that if not for acting, he might not have survived at all. Then came the tragedies that reshaped his life. In 1962, when he was just 22, his mother passed away at the age of 43 after years of battling depression. The loss devastated him. Only a year later, his grandfather James, who had been a father figure to him, also died. In just 1 year, he had lost the 2 people he loved most. It was a period of immense grief, one he would later describe as the lowest point of his life. Feeling utterly lost, he poured himself into acting as a means to cope. Many years later, in his memoir Sonny Boy, a title inspired by his mother's nickname for him, he expressed his lingering pain: "If I am lucky enough, perhaps I'll reunite with my mother there. All I want is the chance to walk up to her and simply say, 'Hey Ma, see what happened to me.'" Determined to make something of himself, Pacino took whatever jobs he could find to fund his acting classes, working as a janitor, busboy, messenger, and postal clerk. He trained at HB Studio in Greenwich Village, where he met acting coach Charlie Lawton, who became a key mentor. Yet financial struggles persisted. There were nights when he had no place to stay, crashing on friends' couches or even sleeping in theaters. During the early 1960s, he was so broke that he sometimes had to sleep on the streets while taking on minor roles in underground theater productions. His career took a pivotal turn in 1968 when he starred in The Indian Wants the Bronx, an off-Broadway play written by Israel Horowitz. Premiering at the Astor Place Theater in New York City, the play ran for 177 performances. Pacino's portrayal of Murph, a violent yet strangely vulnerable troublemaker, left audiences captivated. His raw, intense energy set him apart. The critics took notice, as did the industry. He won the Obie Award for Best Actor, while his co-star John Cazale won Best Supporting Actor, and Horowitz received recognition for Best New Play. However, what happened behind the scenes was even more significant. The play was performed alongside The Sugar Plum, another work by Horowitz starring Jill Clayburgh, Pacino's then-girlfriend. Through this production, he met Martin Bregman, the man who would change his life. Bregman recognized Pacino's potential and became his manager, later securing him iconic roles in The Godfather, Serpico, and Dog Day Afternoon. Pacino later admitted that without Bregman, his career might never have taken off the way it did. In 1969, he made his Broadway debut in Does a Tiger Wear a Necktie?, a play about young drug addicts in a rehabilitation center. Portraying Bickham, a tough but deeply wounded character, Pacino left a lasting impression despite the play's brief run of 39 performances. Critics were enthralled. Variety named him the most promising new Broadway actor, and Newsweek described his character as a hood with a poetic soul. At just 29, he won the Tony Award for Best Featured Actor in a Play. That moment changed everything. Pacino's ability to bring emotional depth to his performances stemmed from years of rigorous training. He studied under Lee Strasberg at the prestigious Actors Studio in New York City, where he mastered method acting. Strasberg, a revered mentor, taught him to channel personal experiences into his roles. Pacino later credited Strasberg with giving him the confidence to pursue acting as a career. The journey to his most famous role, Michael Corleone in The Godfather, was anything but smooth. Today, his portrayal is considered legendary, but in 1972, casting him nearly derailed the entire production. Paramount Pictures wanted a bankable star, someone like Jack Nicholson, Warren Beatty, Robert Redford, or Ryan O'Neal. At the time, Pacino was a relative unknown, with only one film credit to his name. The studio didn't see him as a leading man. They wanted someone taller, someone with a conventional Hollywood presence. But Francis Ford Coppola saw something no one else did. He believed Pacino embodied Michael's transformation, from an innocent war hero to a ruthless mafia boss. Coppola fought tirelessly for his casting, clashing with the studio at every turn. At one point, Paramount even tested James Caan for Michael's role and issued Coppola an ultimatum: Pacino could stay, but only if Caan played Sonny Corleone. Even after filming began, the studio remained skeptical. They scrutinized early footage and wanted Pacino replaced. Coppola knew he had to prove them wrong, and fast. He decided to film the pivotal restaurant assassination scene earlier than planned. When the executives saw it, everything changed. Suddenly, they understood what Coppola had seen all along. Pacino wasn't just good, he was extraordinary. From that moment, his place in the film was secure. The role changed his life. His haunting, understated performance earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor, though many believed he deserved a nomination for Best Actor. Feeling slighted, he boycotted the Oscars in protest. Yet even without the award, his career soared. The Godfather grossed over $250 million against a modest $6 million budget, won Best Picture at the Academy Awards, and cemented Pacino as a Hollywood icon. His ability to convey intensity through silence, particularly in the restaurant scene, became one of cinema's most unforgettable moments. And so, from a troubled youth in the Bronx to one of the most revered actors of all time, Al Pacino's journey remains a testament to resilience, talent, and the enduring power of storytelling. Al Pacino's journey to stardom was anything but easy. He later confessed that filming one of his early roles was a nerve-wracking experience. The immense pressure weighed heavily on him, and the fear of being fired constantly loomed over his head, making it difficult to concentrate. During a getaway scene, he suffered a severe ankle injury, the pain so excruciating that he required injections just to continue filming. Strangely, his initial reaction to the injury was one of relief. He believed it might lead to his dismissal, which at the time felt like an easier escape than enduring the overwhelming stress of proving himself. Recognizing Pacino's struggles, director Francis Ford Coppola stepped in to support him. He adjusted the shooting schedule, allowing Pacino more time to adapt to his role. Additionally, Coppola relied on Diane Keaton, Pacino's co-star, who became a source of emotional support. Her light-hearted nature helped lift Pacino's spirits, and their moments of shared laughter provided much-needed relief during the intense filming process. Looking back, Pacino credited Coppola's unwavering faith in him as the reason he was able to persevere. In 1973, Pacino took on the role of Frank Serpico, a real-life NYPD officer who exposed deep-rooted corruption within the department. Determined to bring authenticity to the role, Pacino immersed himself in Serpico's world, closely observing his speech patterns, body language, and the isolation that came with standing against fellow officers. The production faced hurdles from the outset. Originally, John G. Avildsen was set to direct, but he was replaced by Sidney Lumet just before filming began. The shoot, set against the sweltering summer streets of New York in 1973, was both physically and emotionally intense. Lumet's fast-paced directing style only heightened the energy on set. Despite the challenges, Pacino's performance was widely celebrated, earning him an Academy Award nomination and a Golden Globe win. Made on a modest budget of just a few $1 million, Serpico went on to gross nearly $30 million at the box office. Over time, the film became a defining piece in the crime genre, with Pacino's portrayal standing as one of the most compelling performances of his career. A decade later, Pacino stepped into one of his most iconic roles as Tony Montana in Scarface, 1983. The film, directed by Brian De Palma and written by Oliver Stone, reimagined the 1932 classic, infusing it with the excess and violence of the 1980s. Tony Montana, a Cuban refugee, arrives in the United States with nothing but raw ambition and an unrelenting hunger for power. Pacino meticulously crafted every detail of his character, from his accent and mannerisms to the way he wielded a gun. His dedication came at a cost. During filming, he suffered a severe burn on his hand after grabbing the scorching barrel of a gun, an injury that briefly halted production but underscored his commitment to realism. Upon its release, Scarface sparked controversy. Critics condemned its extreme violence and relentless profanity, while Miami's Cuban community protested its depiction of immigrants, which forced parts of the film to be shot in Los Angeles instead. Despite the backlash, Scarface found its audience, grossing $66 million worldwide. Over time, the film's influence spread far beyond cinemas, seeping into hip-hop culture, video games, and pop culture at large. Tony Montana's infamous line, "Say hello to my little friend," became legendary, solidifying the film's status as one of the greatest gangster movies of all time. In 1992, Pacino took on a vastly different role in Scent of a Woman, a performance that finally earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor. He played Lieutenant Colonel Frank Slade, a blind and embittered Army veteran who embarks on a transformative weekend journey with a young prep school student, played by Chris O'Donnell. As Slade teaches the boy life lessons, he also wrestles with his own internal battles. To fully embody the role, Pacino wore opaque contact lenses to block his vision and used a cane even when the cameras weren't rolling, ensuring his portrayal felt authentic. His performance masterfully balanced humor and intensity, making Slade one of his most unforgettable characters. One of the film's most celebrated moments is the tango scene, where Slade, despite his blindness, leads a young woman in a flawless dance, creating a truly iconic cinematic moment. When Scarface premiered in 1983, it caused an uproar. Many critics lambasted the film for its excessive violence, constant profanity, and what they perceived as a glorification of drug culture. The infamous chainsaw scene, occurring just 20 minutes into the film, left audiences stunned, leading prominent writers like Kurt Vonnegut and John Irving to walk out of screenings. The controversy didn't stop there. Many Cuban immigrants in Miami took offense at how the film depicted their community, arguing that it reinforced damaging stereotypes of crime and drug trafficking. Even within Hollywood, the film stirred debate. Martin Scorsese reportedly warned Stephen Bauer, who played Tony Montana's best friend, that the industry would despise the film for exposing its own corruption. Despite the criticism, Scarface proved to be a commercial success, grossing over $134 million worldwide against a $31 million budget. Pacino's powerhouse performance was widely recognized, and his character's signature phrases became embedded in pop culture. Over the years, the film developed a cult following, particularly within hip-hop and Latino communities, where Tony Montana came to represent ambition and defiance. However, its cultural impact remained a subject of debate. Was Scarface a warning against excess, or had it become a glorification of the very lifestyle it sought to critique? The discussion continues to this day, proving that some films never lose their relevance. Tackling controversial roles. Pacino took on another challenging role in 2018 with HBO's Paterno, a film that examined the Penn State child abuse scandal. The story focused on a critical 2-week period in 2011 when Joe Paterno, a revered football coach with over 400 career wins, saw his legacy collapse. His former assistant, Jerry Sandusky, had been arrested for the sexual abuse of young boys, later receiving a sentence of 30 to 60 years in prison. The film posed a haunting question: how much did Paterno know? Pacino's performance captured a man torn between his towering football empire and the dark reality of the scandal. In one pivotal scene, Paterno recalls a disturbing 2001 report from an assistant coach who had witnessed Sandusky assaulting a young boy in the team's shower. Paterno relayed the information to university officials but never followed up, a decision that would overshadow everything he had built. Critics praised Pacino for portraying Paterno's internal struggle, but the film itself divided audiences. Some believed Paterno was unfairly made a scapegoat, while others saw him as complicit in a system that failed to protect vulnerable victims. Over 300 of his former players protested the film, arguing it unfairly tarnished his legacy. Just months after his dismissal from Penn State, Paterno succumbed to lung cancer at the age of 85. The film refrained from taking a definitive stance, instead forcing viewers to decide whether Paterno was guilty of willful ignorance or merely caught in a failing system. Beyond the screen, Pacino faced his own real-life crisis in 2011 when he discovered that his longtime accountant, Kenneth Starr, had embezzled $50 million from him in a Ponzi scheme. Starr, who had built a reputation as a trusted financial advisor to Hollywood's elite, had been secretly stealing from his clients. When the scheme unraveled, he was sentenced to 7 years in prison. Pacino, returning from an extravagant European vacation, was shocked to learn that his vast fortune had vanished overnight. To recover financially, he took on unexpected projects. He starred in Jack and Jill, a role he later admitted was purely for the paycheck. He also took on speaking engagements and even appeared in commercials, describing this period as a chaotic montage of loss. Despite these setbacks, Pacino continued to solidify his place as one of Hollywood's most enduring actors, proving that his resilience extended far beyond the silver screen. Despite reaching the heights of Hollywood, Alabama Pacino's journey has been anything but easy. His resilience has been shaped by challenges, proving that even the biggest stars are not untouchable. More than just an actor, Pacino has always been a storyteller, someone who seeks deeper meaning in the roles he plays and the projects he takes on. His passion for acting extends far beyond performance. He is dedicated to understanding the craft, deconstructing it, and sharing his insights with others. This relentless pursuit of artistic growth eventually led him to step behind the camera. Pacino's directorial debut came in 1996 with Looking for Richard, an unconventional project that blended documentary, performance, and personal exploration. He aimed to demonstrate Shakespeare's timeless relevance, using Richard III, a play centered on power and ambition, as a lens to explore these enduring themes. The film seamlessly weaved together dramatized scenes featuring actors like Alec Baldwin, Winona Ryder, and Kevin Spacey, alongside interviews with scholars and industry veterans, including Kenneth Branagh and Vanessa Redgrave. The documentary was a triumph, earning Pacino the Directors Guild of America Award for Outstanding Directorial Achievement in a Documentary in 1997. Critics lauded the film for making Shakespeare both accessible and engaging, with Peter Travers calling it a great adventure and outrageous fun. 4 years later, in 2000, Pacino directed Chinese Coffee, an intimate and dialogue-driven film adapted from a play by Ira Lewis. Having previously performed the play on stage in 1992, Pacino brought its raw and introspective nature to the screen. The story revolves around a single night in Greenwich Village, following a tense conversation between struggling writer Harry Levine, played by Pacino, and photographer Jake Mannheim, portrayed by Jerry Orbach. Though it didn't reach a wide audience, the film premiered at the Telluride and Tribeca Film Festivals, where it was praised for its authenticity. It was later included in the 2007 DVD box set Pacino, An Actor's Vision, allowing more viewers to appreciate this hidden gem. Beyond directing, Pacino has dedicated years to mentoring future generations of actors. Since 2000, he has served as co-president of the Actors Studio alongside Ellen Burstyn and Harvey Keitel. This legendary training ground has nurtured some of the greatest talents in Hollywood, including James Dean, Marilyn Monroe, Paul Newman, and Jack Nicholson. Pacino himself studied under iconic mentors like Lee Strasberg and Charlie Laughton, crediting the studio with transforming his career. Now, he ensures that the next wave of actors can push boundaries in a space free from the pressures of fame and commercial success. His approach to teaching extends beyond technique. He encourages actors to explore literature, philosophy, and the human experience, believing that true acting is about understanding life itself. While Pacino has spent a lifetime in the spotlight, marriage was never part of his journey. Despite high-profile relationships with Diane Keaton, Beverly D'Angelo, and Kathleen Quinlan, he remained a lifelong bachelor. In his 2024 memoir Sonny Boy, he candidly explained his aversion to marriage, referring to it as an entrance to the pain train. Personal fears and deep-seated reservations shaped his views on commitment, and no relationship ever changed that. His romance with Diane Keaton is one of Hollywood's most well-known love stories. They met on the set of The Godfather in 1972, with Keaton drawn to Pacino's charm and mystery. However, their on-again, off-again relationship ended for good in 1990 when she issued an ultimatum during the filming of The Godfather Part 3, commit or walk away. Pacino chose the latter, and Keaton left. Another significant relationship was with Kathleen Quinlan, whom he met in 1979 at a party hosted by acting coach Lee Strasberg. The two were inseparable for years, even traveling across Europe together. Pacino later admitted that Quinlan was the closest he ever came to marriage, but in the end, he couldn't take that step, a decision that haunted him for years. Though he never married, fatherhood became a defining aspect of his life. In June 2023, at the age of 83, Pacino welcomed his fourth child, a son named Roman, with 29-year-old Noor Alfallah. The news stunned many, particularly when reports emerged that Pacino had requested a paternity test, doubting his ability to conceive at his age. However, when the test confirmed Roman was his, he fully embraced fatherhood once again. Pacino and Alfallah began dating in 2020 during the pandemic, though their relationship wasn't made public until April 2022. Their 54-year age gap raised eyebrows, especially since Alfallah had previously been linked to Mick Jagger and Clint Eastwood. While Roman is her first child, Pacino had already experienced fatherhood with his three older children, twins Anton James and Olivia Rose, born in 2001 with Beverly D'Angelo, and his eldest daughter, Julie Marie, born in 1989 with acting coach Jan Tarrant. Despite separating from Alfallah, Pacino remained actively involved in Roman's life, frequently connecting through video calls and even bonding over playing the harmonica together. At 84, Pacino continues to work relentlessly, showing no signs of slowing down. In 2021, he starred in House of Gucci, and his upcoming projects further highlight his enduring passion for storytelling. One of the most anticipated films is Modi, directed by Johnny Depp, which delves into 3 intense days in the life of Italian artist Amedeo Modigliani. He is also starring in The Ritual, a horror film based on the true story of Emma Schmidt's exorcisms, set for release on April 18, 2025. Additionally, he is involved in Billy Knight and Killing Castro, proving his dedication to cinema remains as strong as ever. For Pacino, acting has never been just a career, it has been a lifeline, carrying him through life's most difficult moments. He has often stated that acting saved his life, a belief that was reinforced by a near-death experience in 2020. During a severe illness, he lost his pulse and had to be revived by paramedics. The experience profoundly shifted his perspective, solidifying his conviction that there is no afterlife, a belief he has openly shared. Now, as he reflects on his remarkable life and career, Pacino remains as engaged as ever, still a father, still a storyteller, and still one of Hollywood's most captivating figures. Though he never followed a conventional path, he has lived a life filled with passion, resilience, and an unbreakable dedication to his craft. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more amazing content. We'll see you in the next video.